Matt Eberflus says the Bears are connected to free agents. Could one of them be DeAndre Hopkins? Sports Talk Chicago. Here with Jon Zaghloul. Appreciate you tuning in. Subscribe to the channel for more Bears coverage. Follow us all over at Sports Talk Chicago. And support our sponsor, Amish Country Farms. They're in Orland Park. Hit them up today for the best Amish food in all of Chicagoland. Matt Eberflus has come out and said something very interesting, both that nobody really picked up upon too much. It wasn't highly publicized, highly talked about. But I have a feeling he's alluding to a couple of specific players, mainly one who just got released a few weeks ago by the Arizona Cardinals. Matt Eberflus was asked about potentially adding to the Bears in free agency, including an edge rusher and a wide receiver. Matt Eberflus said this in response, quote, "We're interested in a lot of free agents. We're interested in a lot of guys at all positions right now, all positions. We're just excited about being able to look at those guys and potentially add as we go through camp and get closer to the season." Very, very interesting. Not direct, but he did say all positions. So he didn't just say edge rusher. Everybody's so worried about edge rusher. I understand. I get it. Bears don't have a legit one right now. There are players out there, including former Bear Leonard Floyd, Justin Houston, Brent Clark also. Maybe the Bears will get one of them. They need one of them. But here's the more interesting part. DeAndre Hopkins is now officially a free agent. Hopkins was cut a few weeks ago by Arizona. And Bears fans have always had an infatuation, understandably, with Hopkins. Earlier this offseason, the Bears and their fans were asking to make a trade to get Hopkins. I didn't like it. Can't be giving up a first-round pick for a 31-year-old wide receiver. But the tables have turned. Hopkins is a free agent, free to sign anywhere, will not cost tons of money or really break the bank, and he's coming off a year in which he only played 9 games. 717 yards, though, in those 9 games. DeAndre Hopkins, even at his age, is, in my opinion, a WR1. He is a number 1 wide receiver. Even though he hasn't put up 1,000 yards since 2020, past 2 years have been cut short by injuries and suspension for PED use. But DeAndre Hopkins is a stud of a player even at 31 years old. He may not be DeAndre Hopkins of his Houston Texans days, but I could easily see Hopkins put up 1,000 or even 1,100 yards in a Bears uniform, and you might be able to get him for a discount. And you bring in a stud, big wide receiver who could go up and make catches for Justin Fields. And I'll tell you what, you bring in Hopkins, you have Hopkins, Moore, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool. My goodness, you all of a sudden become one of the best wide receiving corps in football. Matt Eberflus said it. Although the question was mainly about edge rushers, he's open to all free agents at all positions. Where are the Bears right now when it comes to DeAndre Hopkins, is my question. And where are the fans, too? All of you were asking and begging for DeAndre Hopkins later last year, earlier this year, but where are you now? We should be sounding the alarm immediately for this one. The whole problem in the past, and the reason why I didn't support it and why others didn't, probably including the Bears, is trade value. There is very little that I would want to give up to get a 31-year-old DeAndre Hopkins on the trade market. I would not be interested in giving up picks or other players or having to pay for his old contract, potentially, when he's 31 years old and had the last 2 seasons cut short by injury or suspension. Not worth it. I don't blame him, though, either. I mean, Arizona's been a really tough place to be in these past couple of seasons. Been very dark, just like here in Chicago. What I like about Hopkins, though, is he didn't say, I want to leave because I hate losing. Not like David Montgomery. Hopkins is out of his contract, and he's looking to play, to compete, and to win. Although some may not believe it at this point, the Bears are kind of ready to compete and win. They are. May not be apparent, may not be obvious, may not smack you in the face, but this team can be 500, no doubt, in 2023, minimum, I should say. It's possible that they could do even better. And this is just one of the beginning years of Justin Fields and Luke Getsy working together. The Bears getting their act together offensively and defensively. spending more money on stars and still having money left over. The Bears are in a great position, and this is only the first year of many prosperous ones to come. Why wouldn't DeAndre Hopkins want to be a part of that? Why would he not be interested in that sort of opportunity? I think it's very possible and very smart for the Bears to bring him aboard. Matt Eberflus said it. He didn't say we're just looking at edge rushers. All we want's an edge rusher. That's all we're targeting. He said, quote, all free agents at all positions. Nothing specific. Not we just want one person, tunnel vision. No, everything. We're looking all over the place because the Bears know, as well as everybody else, they have other holes besides just an edge rusher. They could use another wide receiver. They could use more help in the secondary. They can use another offensive lineman, mainly a center. They could use a wide receiver. They can use all these things. And every team has a list of needs still. Nobody's perfect right now. Nobody's all set in stone. But the Bears still have money to spend. Free agency is technically still ongoing. And the season doesn't begin until September. It's only June. They're still 3.5, 4 months away from opening up their season. They have time to make a change, to bring in somebody. And I'm making the case today for specifically DeAndre Hopkins. Not being a fanboy here. Not one of those crazy Bears fans saying, please bring him in, I need him. No, I'm being realistic with the situation. You have enough money to spend. He's missed the past couple of 2 seasons, been cut short due to injury. He's a solid WR1, no doubt when healthy. He won't break the bank, and he's available without having to give up any draft capital. The Bears do not have to make a trade to get him. They don't have to worry about paying his contract. They don't have to worry about pleasing another GM or another team. He's just there waiting. Pay him $8, $10 million for a 1-year deal and bring him in. Invest in Justin Fields again indirectly. Bring in a real stud wide receiver. This signing, in my opinion, would even outdwarf the DJ Moore trade. DeAndre Hopkins is better than DJ Moore even. You could have 4 solid wide receivers to the point where EQ St. Brown would never frickin' see the field, and that'd be great. He'd be a 5, and he'd be in on blocks and special teams, and he'd never play. That should be the goal if you're the Bears. Never have EQ St. Brown play. There's a great opportunity here to bring in a top-rated wide receiver. That's exciting. That should be something they should take seriously. Don't know if it's going to happen. Don't know the likelihood. And don't know who specifically Matt Eberflus was referring to in that quote. Now, if he's talking about edge rushers again, Justin Houston, Frank Clark, Leonard Floyd, still on the market, that's great. Any one of them would be good signings and would certainly help this defense. But if we're talking about wide receiver, if we're looking into that market, because the Bears could still use one more, DeAndre Hopkins would be smart. Budget signing, no need to negotiate with other teams, and a real opportunity for him to be the WR1 right away on a team that already has 3 WR1As/2s. It's exciting. It's a different idea. It's something to think about, and I think the Bears should get it done. Thanks for watching today's show here at Sports Talk Chicago. Big thank you to John Meadows directing and producing, and all of you for tuning in here today. Subscribe to the channel for more Bears content. Hit us up all over on social at Sports Talk Chicago and support our sponsor, Amish Country Farms. So long, everyone.